You know, card games are pretty cool, man. They're the only reason I'm not an anti-social nerd anymore. And digital card games, getting to play all the time, you know, that's pretty cool too. So it shouldn't be any surprise that I've been playing digital card games since Hearthstone was in beta. It's been a long time since I've touched Hearthstone at this point. I'm not even sure what drove me away from Hearthstone at this point. It might have had something to do with Buddy Fight coming out and being the best card game crafted by human hands. But, you know, you didn't hear that from me. So I was digital card games for a while, and you know, I still want to scratch that itch. I played Pokemon TCG Online every once in a while. Probably the best real card game for converting to the digital landscape because of the lack of phases, the lack of counter speed. Like, it converts really well. But regardless, besides that, until a year and a half ago, I checked out this game called Shadowverse. Pretty similar to Hearthstone, but had a lot of things I liked a lot more. Its free-to-play economy was way better than what I remembered from Hearthstone. I felt that it was more competitive, since that was something I actually valued by that point. And you know, I just liked the game. But, and while that game helped me a lot with understanding, evaluating cards in a mana-based system, eventually I just didn't like it as much. I still play it every once in a while. I was playing it just a couple hours ago, to be honest. Crafted some new meta decks and having some fun with Haven Neutral Craft. Might stream that at some point. But, you know, lost its luster. I really didn't like the card design of stuff like Dimension Shift, Roach, Aegis, basically any of that insta-win type stuff. I really hate the design of it. And the Hearthstone style of gameplay, I felt leaned way too heavy towards aggro. And side games did not seem like they wanted to fix it, especially considering, which makes sense, you know. Their primary market is Japanese players who are playing on the go, so games need to be fast. And I understand that, but, you know, So, yeah, I dropped out of that. Been having fun preparing for Dragonborn. Having some fun with Dragonborn. And then, about 2 weeks ago, it was whenever that big con happened, that Shadowverse had a bunch of stuff at. And I was following stuff involving that, and I saw this article linked on one of the Discords I'm in one of the Shadowverse channels. And it was talking about 3 digital card games that were at that con. And at the very bottom was this little card game called Eternal with a video attached of it. And first look, I'm like, ooh, I'm not sure, because I see that mana system. I see that classic MTG mana system, and I'm not fond of that. But then I see counter removal. I see instants, and I'm like, you know what? I will look past your mana system, and I will give you a shot. And I'm back like a week into trying it out, a bit over that. And I want to tell you guys, my meager little fan base of 1K, Eternal is great. Eternal is fantastic, and I love it. I love it, not quite as much as I love Buddy Fight, but I love it a lot. I love it at least on the level of Dragonborn, we'll put it that way. And I just want to make a video to tell you guys all about the things I love about Eternal. Interaction is very important to me when it comes to card games. The lack of interaction is exactly why I drift away time after time from Pokemon, as much as I love that game. The lack of interaction, the lack of counter speed, you know, it's just, I can't deal with it, man. I need my interaction. That's what's been missing from digital card games. And it's not exactly easy to implement in digital card games, because with a digital card game, you need to have good flow. And this is why so many real card games have such an issue, because to have stuff like phases, to have stuff like individual attacks with all these different response timings that a typical card game has, you're going to need all these confirmation windows, basically. And that will drag the flow of a game that you don't really experience in a real card game. because you're communicating with the person. You're not doing it through a computer. So it's always been a bit of a tricky thing to solve. And I'm really, really happy that Direwolf found the solution. The solution is basically you take magic. I'm not sure if magic actually has phases, but it's all in one phase. You have the magic attack system, and you limit the amount of response timings to just like on summon or in response to spells and when combat is happening and at end of turn. Basic stuff. Okay, that's pretty simple. That works well. That works perfectly. And yeah, it fixes the issue. It fixes my biggest issue with digital card games. And if I have to stomach MTG mana system to get that, then I'm willing to do that, even if I think that MTG's mana system is archaic and better systems have been being put into games for 18 years now, and why are we going back to this archaic system? But regardless, Eternal is a good game. And honestly, it fixes the other issue. It does a great job of fixing the other issue that mana would have on a digital space, which is that tapping the individual, choosing the lands to tap is a bit of an ordeal, and you don't want that in a digital card game. You don't want to muck up the gameplay by having that as a part of it. So you instead have the influence system. So when you use your power, the color of that power gets added to your influence, and cards have influence requirements. And that works. It works well. It works very well. And I like how this game handles it a lot. And you will find yourself mana screwed much less often than in a real card game, in a real MTG, because there's this little thing called your initial hand has a guaranteed 1 power and 1 non-power. Power, of course, being your mana, your lands, whatever. And after your mulligan, you will always have 2 to 4 power. Always, always, always. Now, one of my big criticisms of the game, to be honest, is that I don't understand why this isn't a part of the starting hand, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm going to get into more great things about this game. If you're a free-to-play player, as I always am with these games, at least when I start until I fall completely in love with this game and want to give the developers money, this game gives you good options. It gives you good options. Gives you some free packs for email registration, if I recall correctly. If you get in with a referral link, you'll get a special theme deck, and I believe some more packs as well. With that said, a referral link for me in the description. And then you have a nice selection of free-to-play modes, and this is something that I really want to get into. So you, of course, have the campaign, which gets you through the basics, gets you these nice spiffy monocolor legendaries for each of the 5 colors, which is pretty rad. You can't get rid of these, and they vary in usefulness, but they're pretty nice to have. They're pretty nice bases for your early decks. And then you get access to the puzzles, the gauntlet, and the forge, which are all free-to-play modes. So puzzles, if you like in the Yu-Gi-Oh card games or in the Vanguard card games, there'll always be these dual puzzles, basically. And that's what these are. Now, I do also have a criticism here in that it's really dumb that there's no restart button. You have to go through the menus again when you fail. And it's also really dumb that you can't see the contents of your deck or any other hidden zones. Because they always, in other puzzle things, they'll always have this so that you can figure it out on your first try without having to do guesswork. Like, it's really annoying because 90% of the time, drawing into your deck is a trap because it'll all be power. But there's 1 or 2 puzzles where your deck isn't all powered. There's a couple puzzles where there is actually cards that you need to draw into or cards that you need to avoid drawing into, like a firebomb. And, that's kind of really irritating. And then there's 1 or 2 where your opponent has a counter card in their hand that you don't know about. And, it would be really nice if I could see what my opponent's hand is, since this isn't a real game and it's a puzzle. Regardless, the puzzles do a really good job of teaching you the mechanics of the game, how everything interacts, and it did a really good job of preparing me for the game. So when I went into the other modes, I felt like I was prepared to do well, and it's a fantastic learning tool, and I'm so glad it's here. The Gauntlet and Forge are PvE modes. The Gauntlet is 7-fighter gauntlet that you enter for free with any deck of your choosing. You can only, if you lose once, you're kicked out. You get prizes as you advance, and if you get a 7-0 run, you will rank up, and the rank up chest will have a pack, and you'll also get the chest. So the chests, how they work is there's 4 levels: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Bronze will give you about 50 gold, with packs being 1,000 gold, and a common card. Silver will give you about 250 gold and an uncommon. The gold chest will give you about 500 gold as well as a standard pack, and the platinum chests, premium chests, will give you one of the foils, a random foil, as well as a pack and 2,000 gold. You won't be seeing those in your Gauntlet or Forge runs, but Gauntlet, your perfect runs will give you 2 silver chests and a rank up chest, which is basically it's gold without it's the gold chest without the 500 gold. And until you get to Masters, you keep getting these, and the 7th fight in the Gauntlet runs have these special boss rules, which are pretty cool. Then there's Forge, which is basically PvE draft. Now, the really good thing here is that in Eternal, you actually keep the cards that you drafted, like you would in real life. So these are great ways really efficient ways of spending your gold if you have the time. And someone like me, who's never really been good at draft, is finally given something that really encourages me to give draft a shot. And I feel like I've gotten pretty good at the Forge and Draft modes. Now, if you're used to the Hearthstone or Shadowverse style of you're given a selection of cards and you choose one for your deck, like 3 or 4 cards, basically, that's what Forge is. Forge is the Hearthstone style. You're given 3 cards to choose from. You pick one. One of the cards will always be from the newest set. The rarities are set, etc., etc. Your first 2 color picks will determine the colors that you're going to be shown. And after that point, you only get those colors. And once again, you need to get 7 wins. You go until you get 7 wins or 2 losses. This costs 2,500 gold. And once you reach Masters, you no longer get the rank up chests. And you get, what is it? What's the full reward is 2 gold chests and a level up chest until you reach Masters, at which point it becomes 2 gold and a silver or something, I think. But regardless, yeah, it's good. It's good. Something like that. So Forge and Gauntlet are great modes for building up your collection, especially early on. And, they're great for familiarizing yourself with the game. Then, of course, we have PvP modes. Draft is like the real-life draft. So this is really cool. Something I really like about this game. So it's 5,000 gold to enter. You get 4 packs, 2 from each set. And you draft 48 cards, and then you take, then you make a 45 card deck. But 15 of those have to be power. So you're really only using 30 of your cards, if not less. And the game uses an algorithm to determine what packs from the past to pass you so that you're getting stuff that matches the colors you're picking, which is really great. And draft is really, really fun and has really fantastic rewards. So the great thing about this is, okay, you're getting 4 packs, but you're getting like the cream of you're getting your selection. If you're just going rare picking, then you're getting a great selection here because your default reward with draft will always be 2 silver chests. So even if you get 0 wins, you will get the 2 silver chests, so 1,000 gold, and then you will get your selection from the 4 packs. So great, that's great. As long as you have the time to sink into it, this is by far the best way to spend your gold, especially early on. And then the ultimate prize. So your first win gives you another silver chest, and then wins 2 through 4 will upgrade one of your silver chests to a gold chest. And then wins 5 through 7 will upgrade your gold chests to a premium chest. This is a very well constructed draft mode, and I love it a lot. It has bronze to masters rankings, just like ranked would in other games, which is great. And for doing well in draft, you will get end of seasons rewards just like you would in ranked. Ranked has a bi-season ranking system, if I recall correctly. Nothing really much to say here, but load times have been good so far. The rewards are pretty nice. Getting Master will get you 3 packs and a premium legendary at the end of season. So, that's pretty nice. That's a pretty good reward for doing well. And then there is the last mode is only on during certain times, and it's on right now. There's one on right now called it's an event mode. So right now the event that's on, basically every once in a while for a limited amount of time, these events will be going on. So the current one is a temporary alliances event where you enter basically a draft, a constructed draft. So your max wins are 7 and your max losses are 3. You enter with 2,000 gold or 200 gems, gems being the paid currency. And you will be guaranteed 2 packs. You will always get 2 packs, even if you get 0 wins. So like draft, it's a good way to spend your gold. And because of the leaderboard prizes, if you play even once, you will get an additional pack at the end of the weekend. And then, 1 win gets you a common premium. 2 wins gets you a common premium and a bronze chest. 3 wins gets you a 3rd pack. 4 wins gets you your premium upgraded to an uncommon. 5 wins gets you a 4th pack and your bronze chest goes to silver. 6 gets your premium upgraded to a rare. And 7 gets your silver chest upgraded to a gold chest. All around, fantastic prizing and leaderboard prizes. The 1st to 10th get 15 packs, and it only counts your first 5 runs, from what I understand. So it doesn't become this rush of trying to just edge up the leaderboard. You do well, you do whatever. And they always have these, from what I understand, they always have some spiffy rules going about. This one is multi-faction cards cost 1 less. So yeah, it is good stuff. I really love, the free-to-play economy for this game is fantastic. Every couple days when you start off, you'll be given this theme deck. Your first win of the game and win of the day in any PvP mode will reward you a pack of the recent set. There's promos by the month that will also be rewarded for you for your first 4 days of winning that month. The premiums look great. There's just a lot that I really, really love about this game. The mixing is it's like deck building. It's MTG. It's MTG. And there's not much to say there. There is the tournament scene that does exist for this game. Has sideboarding because apparently in beta they had sideboarding, and assumedly they will re-add the sideboards to the actual game once they have a mode that actually uses them. So that's great. Also, another note, packs give you 100 shift stones, which is what you use for crafting in this game. So you don't even have to be killing your stuff to remake stuff. And if you're spending money on the game, another thing I really like is you can buy boxes, and boxes will guarantee you a certain amount of legendaries. And the awesome thing is this, beyond getting a bit of a discount when you're buying boxes, you get, with a box, you're getting 32 packs, which means 3,200 shift stones, which is the exact amount that you need to make a legendary. So that's really rad. That's a bit of a convenience, don't you think? Then, in the most recent update that just happened, like while I was in the process of making this video, they also added faction progress, upgrading the free-to-play economy even more. I've only been playing for a week, and when I logged in, after this had been added, I ended up with like 9 packs and 1.5 gold. And you know, this is another great way of rewarding you for playing. Gets you progress as you play with factions, and you get rewards at every level instead of every 5 levels with Shadowverse. Sorry, Shadowverse. I still love you. Not really. Yeah. Oh, right. Another thing that I really love. One last thing that I really love. I'm almost done here. So there's a good amount of content with this game, so that's good. But what I really love is that on the options menu and on the patch notes screen, there are actually links to the official Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and Discord. So, you know, that's really good. That's not something I've ever seen any other digital card game do. And you know, it's smart. It's smart. Get your players connected with the community. It seems like common sense, you know? There's been a lot of the game is still in open beta. Card balance changes happen all the time. It seems like Direwolf is really proactive in making the game stay balanced. And you know, I just really love this game. There's a lot of really cool digital only mechanics that they have in this game. Like there's some really cool card design with influence, where you have like 0 power things that have things that cost 0 power, but they require 3 influence from time. So you can't actually play it until turn 3, but it still costs 0. So that's a rad thing. That's a cool mechanic that I really like. Then we've got stuff like Revenge. So when something with Revenge dies, it gets Destiny, loses Revenge, goes into the top 10 cards of your deck, and then when a card with Destiny is drawn, you play it immediately and then draw another card. That's a really cool one. Aegis, while this isn't really digital exclusive mechanic thing, I really like how this works in comparison to Hexproof. So it's basically your Hexproof. It doesn't protect you the thing from being targeted, but it protects it from being affected by one enemy ability. And then, now the really cool thing about this is that Aegis can be given to the player. So you can use this to protect yourself from effect damage. So that's really cool. I really like that. Let's see what else is there. I really love how... Another thing I really love is that units keep all the stats and extra keywords that they got even when they leave the field. So when they return to hand, they go to the void, whatever. They keep everything. They keep everything, including being silenced, but they keep everything, which is a really cool digital only type of thing. And that on its own, I wouldn't need any other sort of digital mechanic, because that has so many cool things that go with it. That changes so much that it's enough on its own, but that isn't all they do. Then we've got stuff like Roar Cry, which is when that unit attacks, you give +1/+1 to the top unit or weapon of your deck. Ambush, Quick Play, Creatures, Echo. When you draw a card with Echo, it clones itself. So that's really great. And it happens when you draw it from the void as well. Fate is a keyword that does something when the card is drawn. Infiltrate is the ability of a unit that occurs the first time that unit deals damage to the enemy player. Life Force, cards that have an effect when you gain life. Nothing too special there. Spark, additional effect when played after the enemy player has taken damage that turn. Warp, these are basically the cantrips of the game. So you can see cards with Warp when they're on the top of your deck, and you can play them as if they're in your hand. I love this mechanic so much. It is such a cool idea. And then, of course, as is par for the course, I suppose, for digital card games, you have weapons. So in this game, kind of like Elder Scrolls, the Elder Scrolls CCG, whatever, that Direwolf also made, you can put weapons onto creatures. And you can also put relic weapons. There's another thing called relics, which are basically like amulets from Shalvers, just things that you put on the board, but they're considered attached to your avatar. And relic weapons are a combination of the two. They're weapons that you put onto your avatar. And then another one of the really cool things here is that since the spells are being used by your avatar, and any relic weapon skills are considered to be the skills of your avatar, then any spells that can gain those get the abilities of your avatar. So if you have Deadly, which is Death Touch, or Deadly in Dragonborn, any of your spells that deals damage will now insta-kill. Or if you have Overwhelm, which deals excess damage to the enemy player, all of your damaging spells get Overwhelm. And then you have, I'm sure there's others, Quick Draw, of course, but that's only on attacks. I'm not remembering any others at this moment, but it's really cool. It's really cool. I like it a lot. There's a lot that I really, really love about this game, and I could go into it for hours. With that said, it's not exactly perfect. I'm not exactly fond of the mana system, and while the game is designed too much around that mana system to really change it, it doesn't change the fact that getting mana screwed or mana flooded, no matter how infrequently it happens, which is pretty infrequently now, it's still the worst feeling in card games. It's why I don't play MTG. Bricking or getting sacked in any other card game feels better than getting mana screwed or mana flooded. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. And if having instants in this game is, like, if you hate this system as much as I hate it, and you aren't so desperate for a game with counter speed stuff, then I can't recommend this game to you, because you're going to be extremely frustrated by the mana screw or mana flood system. However, if you're someone who can deal with that, or if you're as desperate for instants in digital card games as I am, then you will love this game. It is fantastic. And my only hope is that Eternal continues to take steps, like with the Mulligan, to fix, to make mana screw and mana flood happen less frequently. There's a lot of ways they could go about it, and being a digital card game, they have the ability to change things, and have tools that real card games just don't have to fix these things. Like ideas I have off the top of my head. Change the full mulligan to a free mulligan. Make the starting hand have the 2 to 4 power thing. A 3 per game ability that lets you remove from play a card from your hand to draw the opposite kind of card. So you remove power to get a non-power, or you remove a non-power to get a power. Or just an algorithm that prevents you from getting mana flooded or mana screwed. So if you have like no cards in the hand and you have enough power to play anything in your deck, it would edge the game towards giving you a non-power. Stuff like that. If you're stuck on 2 power, then the game would put things towards making it more likely that you'll draw a power. Just things like that. That has its own issues, because like the order of the cards in your deck does matter, but there are steps that can be taken. Personally, I like the three per game, discard a card to get the opposite type of card the best, because it's limited enough.
but even that might cause too much consistency. So who knows? But you're locked at 25 power minimum anyways. So I don't think it would be that big of an issue. But for all I know, they're testing all kinds of ways to fix the power balance as I speak, and are trying to figure something out. But I'm looking forward to the future of this game. I will be doing a bunch of streams for it because I really love this game. And other content will be resuming very soon. I'll have an announcement for Buddy Fight that will be coming on Sunday that I think you'll all be very excited for. And with that said, this is Hunter Surge signing off.
Actually, one teeny tiny last thing. So in Duel Links, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Mobile game, there's this feature that it has for the Mass Destroy Extras thing that allows you to destroy extras, but it lets you set it to count all of your foils and non-foils together, so that you're left with just 4 or less of that card with the highest rarity ones being prioritized. Why is this not in other digital card games? This is such an obvious feature. Come on, guys, get your crap.